Hi, I'm Beth Klein, and today I'm going to show you how to assemble one of our cat towers. So I'm going to assemble the 3-tier cat tower, but it doesn't really matter how many tiers you have. It's just a repetition of the steps in between. So I'll show you how to do this one, and I'll explain which steps you're going to add if you have more than just 3 tiers on your cat tower. So I think the easiest way to explain the assembly is for you to just see it assembled first, and I'll show you what each level will look like. So on the top level, we have, and it doesn't matter which levels you have. If you have a 9-tiered cat tower, it's still the same. Your very top one is going to have 4 top corner brackets on the top, just like our dog beds. So this one will assemble actually just like our dog bed. The second from the top will have these legs in between, and I'll go through this when we're putting it together about which sizes that needs to be. Right now, I just want to show you what they look like so that as you're building it, you have a good visual, which will help you putting it together. And these all just slide in and out. There's no screws or anything. They just kind of slide in together. So this is the second from the top. It was assembled like this. It only has 2 top corner brackets. The other side of it has 2 bottom corner brackets, just flipped upside down. And the very bottom and all of the nests in between, if you have a 4 or a 5 or a 6 up to 9, they will all be built like this, where you have 4 bottom corners on the top. So you can have the legs from the previous nest drop down and stack on top. So I think this will help you to see exactly what you're doing as you do it. And now I'll show you how to start from the beginning. So after you've unpacked your cat tower, you should have parts that look like this. You'll have fabrics, a base rail kit. You have one of these no matter how many tiers you have on your cat tower. You'll have one bag that's your base corner kit. And then depending on the number of tiers you have, you'll have corresponding number of corner bags that have the corners and the hardware packaged. So if you have more than 3 tiers, you'll have extra nest kits. This is basically just the frames for your additional nests. If you have the heavy-duty vinyl instead of the outdoor mesh, then you'll have a fabric that looks like this, or a fabric for every tier that you have. So if you have a 5-tier cat tower, you'll have 5 of these. And the cording is already installed. So when I'm showing you how to do this, the step where I'm inserting cording into the fabric is a step that you won't need to do. It's already done for you. The tools that you'll need for your cat tower are a Phillips head screwdriver and a 7/16 wrench. You can also use an adjustable wrench and or a power drill. Included in your shipment will be a printed parts list as well as assembly instructions, so that if you prefer to read the instructions, then you'll be able to follow along with the printed ones that we send you. So this is what all those parts look like unpacked. I have these organized into your legs, and each cat tower, no matter how many tiers you have, will only have 6 legs. We have your legs, 6 legs, and 6 leg caps. The caps just slide right into either end of this leg cap. You'll have 4 of these 3-inch legs and 2 of these longer 7-inch legs. So for each of these legs, you can just slide those leg caps in, and it doesn't matter which side they go in. These will help you identify which parts are going to be your legs. So after my legs, I have the frame kits. And these, you need 2 long and 2 short for each of your nests. since I'm doing 3 tiers, 3 nests, I have 6 total frame parts for each long and short side. So 2 long, 2 short, 2 long, 2 short, 2 long, 2 short. So that's like if you had 5 of these, you would have 5 nest kits. Then we have our bottom corner brackets and our top corner brackets. It doesn't matter how many tiers you have on your cat tower, you will only have 6 of these top corner brackets. The number of bottom corner brackets you're going to use will just depend on the number of nests that you have to stack on top of each other. And then these last components are the legs that separate the different tiers. The number of legs in between each tier will depend on the number of nests that you have. After you've organized all your parts, and I should mention that the only thing you'll need these tools for is at the very end when we're tightening everything up. You won't need those tools to actually put it together. So the first step is to take your fabrics, and since I'm building a cat tower with an outdoor mesh fabric, this is a breathable fabric, it's great for outdoor use. Water will pass through it, so it's very popular for outdoor catios. So we're going to take the long side and just slide this piece of long cording into that corresponding channel on the fabric. So you'll have 2 long and 2 short pieces of plastic cording for each number of nests that you have. So since I have 3 nests, I have 3 fabrics to put the cording into. If you have the heavy duty vinyl, and I talked about this earlier, this is a step that you can skip. The vinyl already has its cording heat welded into the edges, so it's all done for you. There we go. Now our fabrics are all ready. I have my paper instructions so I can follow along so that I know which parts stack in between. So each of these nests has 2 long rails and 2 short rails, and then we're just going to pick whichever side you want to start with, and you're going to slide the fabric right into the frame rail. And if you have this dark brown, the walnut frame, I like to put the, we have our phone number printed on the rails. I like to put that on the bottom. So since we're starting with our fabrics, the sewn side is going to be facing up. So this is technically upside down. We're going to start that way. Get our short rails on here. And now we have 1 nest almost done. I'm going to do that for the other ones too. There we go. So our next step is to put the corners on. When we're building our nest kits, I like to do the top 2 first. So that way I know the top corners are done and everything below that will be the same. When we're doing our very top nest, it's going to be just like the dog beds. So we have 2 of these flathead screws on the top and 2 of these nylon lock nuts. These lock nuts are going to be different than the dog beds. These have the nylon inside so that they lock on nice and tight. So we're going to start with the top corner bracket. It's going to go on the bottom since we're assembling each nest upside down. And make sure you use the flathead screws for the very top. Anytime you use one of these top corner brackets, you use a flathead screw. You also received these panhead screws, but they're longer. They're for putting two bottom corner brackets together. So if you have bottom corners on the top, you use the panhead screw. If you have the top corner bracket on the top, you use flathead screw. So we're going to just slide the corner off the edge of the table to make it easy to get that hardware through the holes. We're going to take any of these bottom corners and just drop it on down. You're going to grab your nylon lock nut and just thread it on. Going to do the same thing for your second corner hole. Grab your lock nut, screw it on, and this does not have to be tight. These can just be loosely secured, because once everything's put together, we'll go back with our hardware, our tools, and just tighten it all up. So for this very top nest, all these corners will be the same. We're going to use 4 of these top corner brackets and 4 bottom corners. There we go. So now we have our very top tier all done. So the next nest we're going to build is the second from the top. That's the one that had the 2 top corners on one side and then 2 bottom corners on the top on the other side. So we're going to start with the 2 top corners. They're going to go on opposite ends of a long side. It doesn't matter which side you choose, they just have to be both on long side. So it's the same way we just did the other ones. So now on this long side, we need 2 bottom corners for each of these corners. And remember, with the bottom corners going together on both sides, we need the panhead screws, the ones with the rounded top, and they're longer than the flathead screws. So just like it's a top corner, we're going to treat it just the same way. You line it up, you get the panhead screw to go through from the bottom, and you just drop that second bottom corner on top. You use the same nylon lock nut that you used for the other corners for these corners as well. There we go. So you can see this will be your second nest. We'll have the other nest on top with all 4 top corners, and then everything below that will be all bottom corners. So this entire nest is going to have bottom corners on both sides, which means the only hardware we're using from now on are these longer pan head screws. There we go. So if you have more tiers, more nests to build, you'll just repeat this step, this process over for each nest you have. So you'll do this, 3 or 4 more times depending on how many nests you have. But this is just repetition of the same thing. So now we can try and put it together. So first thing we're going to do is get our short legs. So we're going to start with these outside on the bottom nest that has all 4 of the bottom corner brackets on top. This is the very bottom nest. You're going to put your little legs on there. You just slide them right on. The leg cap goes on the bottom. The part of the leg that doesn't have anything in there, that goes into the bottom corner bracket. There we go. So then we have the shortest of your middle components. They go here. And then we can take this second from the top nest, or if you had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 nests, then you would take another one of the nests with more bottom corner brackets and stack it on top. But since this is the second from the top for a 3-tier, we drop this down here, and then we take these long legs and just line them up underneath. There we go, that's our base. Only one more to go. So these short legs, the middle components, go in between the nests where they're stacked, because you can see that's a shorter distance. And you need the longer ones to go on the outside. You just drop those in there and get them lined up with the bottom corners. Drop them all in. There you go. We have our 3-tier cat tower. So this is where, after you have it all put together, you can just go through and use your wrench and your screwdriver and just tighten up all the hardware so it's not so loose and wiggly. Hopefully that was pretty easy. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We're happy to help you.